Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. How are you guys tonight?
Hi, you guys. Hi, Miss Nicole, White Porcelain. It's wonderful to see you. Thanks for joining us on the new #1 channel.
And can you hear me now? Just want to make sure.
Testing, testing, test, test.
So we see we got Miss Nicole in the house, White Porcelain, Ice Bergala. Good to see you as well. Got mit uns. Hello. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everything is flowing well as well. Scott's in the house as well. Can you guys hear us? Just want to make sure. Hey guys, Bill. Can you guys hear us? Maybe not. Hang on one second.
So we're testing to see if the sound is working. It shows it's working, but no one's responding. Oh, clear as a bell, Nicole says.
Okay, good. Oops. Chris P., good to see you. Brenda, nice to see you as well. How's everybody holding up? Jonathan, thank you. Good to have you aboard. Yeah, I think it's like it's got a little bit of a delay, you know. It seems like it. Can you see on the... Yeah. So, I don't know. They put in a new system, and of course they took away the old system. And the new ones, as usual, got glitches. What can you say? Mark Jones, good to see you. Ruth McCool. Knowledge 2020. Feber May. Justin, Velvet Fry, Primer's Ghost, Organic Farms. We love you. You're always so good to us. Thank you for your support. Kayla, good to see you. Crash Steel, doing wonderful. Penny Love Dance in the house.
This is wonderful. This is like our core here. You guys are our diehards. We're totally connected.
Rick Moore, all's good in trucking land. Lots of wild things happening. We have some construction going on near us, which is making it hard for us to figure out when they're just blasting, and digging and doing those things, or what's earthquakes now. But when we do our meditation, boy, does it feel like the earth is shaking. Big time. Deej in the house.
Hello, Deej. Kermit the Frog. Oh my gosh, I thought I'd never meet you. Hi.
Kevin Thompson. Hey there in Australia. Kyle Wolf in the house. All clear in Sarasota. Beautiful Sarasota. I miss Caraguelos, that beautiful Italian restaurant downtown. What I would do for one of their calzones right now.
What's a calzone?
It's like a wrapped up pizza. But, I always get it with ricotta and maybe onions and peppers.
With my education, you just have to call it a wrapped up pizza.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Shelley Jones, good to see you. Christine MacArthur. Hope things are going well down New Zealand. Julian Assange in the house. We are blessed. Everett H. Dawn Lambert.
Look at him.
Ray. Fist bumps for Ray. Azteca. D. Jackson. Can we get a...
Rawr. Okay, let me try again. Rawr!
Oh.
I am so totally worried about your guys' ears.
She almost left the seat on that one. Patricia. Washington checking in. Bob, bonsoir. Scott Bradenton there. All right, Bradenton in the house. Good to see you guys. Bulletproof Monk. Don Lambert. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been busier for us now. We've been doing a lot more clientele work again. There's a lot of sick people. And, again, guys, you guys know Blue Kool-Aid, right? Wages World. Please send Brother Mark prayers and energy. He's still fighting. He is still fighting. His family is feeling better, but he is in a battle, guys. He's a good guy, and he's a great guy. He's a really good person. And he's fighting a big battle right now to get over, really fever, chills, bedridden, the whole 9 yards. So many people are going through this right now. So please send, love and prayers for Wages World, Blue Kool-Aid, our brother Mark.
I like to surround people with white light, and that sort of kind of zaps all the bad bugs that might be around him. So if you could surround him in white light, I think that's going to really help.
Or that or violet. The violet flame is amazing. Violet is the highest color, as far as it's closest to source.
So, anyways, it is a great color. I just happen to have a lot of really good luck with white, but the violet flame is much better. It is closer to source. So, yeah.
Well, white contains everything, and so it has whatever you would need in it. So white is very, very safe when you're doing energy work to work on people with, because the body will take what it needs. Violet is again, it's the highest vibrational frequency as far as the colors go. So very spiritual. It gets rid of lower vibrations, could get rid of attachments, scare the little gremlins away, and the Draco and the little race. Just, you see one of those things, send them a little violet love.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. They'll enjoy it.
Yeah, most definitely. So, guys, before we get started, maybe it'd be a nice tradition to start with Cindy doing her tuning fork. And we'll send out a little love to the family and to all those that listen to it, the broadcast later, and some healing energy for the planet and for everybody on it right now. I hope you guys got a chance to check out the video that we did, the prayer, the mantra, the meditation, and please share it and please do it, or something of that like. But if we could build up an energy channel, we could work wonders together. We could work so many wonders together. It's just amazing what we can do. So what we're going to do is Cindy's going to clear our personal space with the tuning fork.
I need everyone to find their healthiest self. I need you guys to find your healthiest self and put that in your mind's eye, because we're going to pull you into alignment toward that.
And what we're going to do is going to send out some violet love from the higher planes of existence to the earth, because the earth needs to be raised up in vibration. And this will also, help everybody's vibrations go up. If you guys read some of the comments from the last time we did this, one person said they were having sinus problems and allergies. They listened to the video about 3 hours after we did it, and it went away and stayed away all day. Other people had the same sort of feelings. Good to see you, Brother Mark. Philip Earthship, good to see you as well. Archangel Gabriel, we are safe now. And so let's do this. Let's say a little prayer for the planet. And you know what? While I'm thinking about it right here, let me just pull up. Because I think it might be good to do this. It might be good to do this just as is. control, greed, and let this be a call for peace and change upon the earth. And I hope and pray that you guys will embrace this and share this. And if it suits you to use it as is, use it as is. If you want to change it, change it. But this is a mantra that came to me, a meditation, a prayer. We call on the one true creator of all, the angelic realm, and peaceful, loving, benevolent beings that serve that one source of all, to remove from power the forces of darkness, control, greed, and destruction that have been and are harming the earth and all the life that dwells upon it. We do not consent to their rule. We do not recognize their authority. We no longer accept their making decisions for us. May they be removed from power. May love, compassion, peace, and unity be restored to the earth. And may the door be sealed where evil dwells. And now we're just going to visualize the entire planet encased in a violet flame. That beautiful violet color just encasing the entire planet and purging out the darkness, removing all the lower vibrational entities from our existence, and peace and unity being restored to the earth. Thank you guys. Thank you for that. So maybe it should be a good tradition if we do something like that on a regular basis. So we see there's so much going on right now. And we see we have a comet that's going to zoom past the Earth. We've been talking about this. Comet Atlas is starting to develop a tail. And it's expected now. It is expected that it's going to be bright enough so that we could see it with a naked eye. So this is pretty wild stuff. It's pretty epic. It's most definitely a sign of the times. Here you see how Forbes, bright comet with a tail, could just adorn the twilight right when the coronavirus epidemic is peaking. So interesting coincidence there, is it not? And this is going to run for a bit. And wow. It's so wild what we're seeing converge right now. All these different things are going on at the same time. It's enough to give us whiplash.
Oh my gosh, is it ever? I mean, so many things going on, and I don't know, changes with everything, changes in our vibration, and when we're going through energy work, it's or energetic times, it's really hard on us. It's hard on our body because we're getting all this information in from all these different sources, and it can really be confusing if if your energetic body is plugged up, or if you're getting downloads and you don't understand them. I do believe that's what's happening to the human body, and it can be kind of a rough time.
It definitely can be a challenge, guys. Definitely. But we're gonna rise to this, and there's a lot of things that are going to be coming our way. A lot. The CV is just really the beginning of a ramping up. What we're feeling, many of us are feeling, that the earth changes are going to go to a much higher level than they have been. So be aware of that as well. As we see Comet Atlas. Now we have other things going on too. We look over here, we got another large green fireball over Florida. Interesting. There's video here, and that's it. This thing is big and bright, and I didn't get permission, so we won't play it, but you can see it right here, and it just like goes whoosh. Now it's interesting that there it looks blue, And as we were looking at Atlas, it looks more green to me than blue right now. Could change. It could change because, we're wondering, is this perhaps blue Kachina as well? What is it? And there it is. There's that fireball again. That's in Gainesville. My God, there are no coincidences in this world. There are none. Everything seems to be so played out. Do you guys ever get the feeling like we're in a video game here?
I get a feeling, I had that feeling today that I was in the beginning of a movie again. And I get that feeling kind of a lot, like once a week.
So, look at where this fireball was seen, right? Kind of curious because, I saw this movie that was advertised. Maybe you guys heard of it. Greenland, right? This is a new movie coming out. Guess what it's about?
Huh? What could it possibly be? What?
It's about a comet coming. Yes. And you know what else is coincidence is like, I'm hearing that they're removing the trailer from a lot of places, which is interesting because, look at what's going on now. So here you see scenes where stuff is just coming down, around everybody. This is the trailer you could play. And man, some ominous stuff in this. There's like right here, little boy's pointing up and saying, "Why is this guy on fire?" to his dad. And then like over here is when they're watching the first fragment going to hit. Like it's like the scientists have said it's going to hit the ocean. Don't worry. It's going to hit the ocean, right? And so they see it like heading down, but you know what? It didn't hit the ocean. Do you know where it hit? The first fragment? Well, the first fragment happened to hit right here, where we just saw this fireball. It hits Central Florida. And this is, again, a movie. And again, are there any coincidences? And then it just kind of goes downhill from that. And then the whole gist of the movie is it's a race to get underground into bunkers. And the elites, of course, are taking off, heading into the bunkers. And, we have our hero here trying to get his family into the bunkers as society unravels and everybody starts panicking. So, another coincidence?
Everything's coincidence, and everything we say on here is for entertainment purposes only.
Always. And everything is completely coincidental, as we're saying. Coincidences. It's all coincidences.
Indeed.
Okay, so I was curious that they chose Greenland because Greenland is probably where the Younger Dryas comet asteroid hit, meteor. And in this case, everybody wants to go to Greenland because that's where there were bunkers to get people housed.
That's interesting.
And as Chris says, Trump said he wanted to buy it. Why did he want to buy it? Maybe there's some really good bunkers under there they discovered from 12,000 years ago, the last time this happened.
Yeah, it probably is. Those people in Greenland, they know their stuff.
So the name of the movie is Greenland. And, it actually looks like it's going to be a real fun roller coaster ride to get on and watch that movie.
I think so. It'll probably give me nightmares, but I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, it's like a train wreck. How could you not? You're just going to find yourself drawn to it and just staring, and then getting so tense going through it. So, Anna. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anna also felt the tuning forks and the energy that we sent through as well. And so, thank you guys so much for sending love and prayers to the earth and also to Wages, Mark Wages World, Blue Kool-Aid, as he's in a big time battle right now, just to let you guys know. It is definitely serious. So I thought that was just, what a coinky-dink. And here you see that like they're all staring up in the sky and it looks like the military is all taking off. because they might have an idea where some of the big ones are coming in, so they're clearing the area. Does look to be a exciting movie, and just another one of those coincidences that we have going on. So we see California's wildfires aren't going to stay quarantined. Wow. I mean, think about all the things that you could possibly be hit with in life as we head towards another wildfire season. Wow. I mean, how is that going to impact with people on lockdown? And then if you get the fires going, then, well, of course they got to leave, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and gosh, if you guys think you're having a hard time, just imagine what these people are going through. This is first they're quarantined, then they have to worry about fires. It's just sad.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. So much. And, you know, a lot of people believe there's going to be rolling blackouts and power outages coming. I think a lot of people are getting that feeling as we get more in touch with our intuition and start developing and using our psychic abilities, which are coming online. As CIA knows, they did studies on that, so they knew this was all going to happen. Severe floods, worst locust invasion in 50 years, continues to devastate Iran. So there's multiple devastation going on right now. Actually, my friend that runs a orphanage in Uganda, they just got severe floods, and you know, the little kids are there trying to bail with little buckets, and it's a pretty bad situation. And the flooding's going to continue all around. So again, we were saying prayers and best wishes for everyone that's getting hit with these earth changes. So far, the number one thing has really been water, and it's been flooding. That has been the thing that's taken more lives and caused more havoc. And also, you know, it is one of the major contributors to the food issues that we have going on now.
Yeah, I mean, things are definitely, you know, they're forever ramping up. But like when you feel like, oh wow, things can't get any more stranger or exciting, then they do.
Yeah, and challenging, and challenging for sure. As we've seen so many homes, so you're on lockdown, you're quarantined, and then the floods come, and hopefully you have 2 floors to your house. What if you're living in a first floor structure and the water is up to your chest? You know, and it's just everything that is being put on mankind right now is most definitely challenging.
It is. And, you know, that's why I guess I keep yammering away about going within and meditating and stuff, because the real battle is in the mind, and we're going to need to be in like high spirits and be in a good place mentally to walk through this.
Definitely. And we see it's all over. Now we're still towards the Middle East here, Syria. And here you have deadly flooding and landslides as well. And of course you have tons of refugees in Syria. You have a war still going on as well. Of course we have, you know, the virus. We have everything going on. It's just a mess. And as it says here, Raqqa is being slaughtered silently. As you know, it's just an accumulation of things. As you look at roads completely washed away, bridges getting washed away, infrastructure, and of course, again, the food supply being hammered, and it's just adding up and up and up. And you know, obviously, it most definitely feels like we're in the middle of the tribulation now. Hundreds of homes destroyed as severe flash floods hit Afghanistan. So again, and this time we have 11 fatalities and hundreds of buildings destroyed. As you see, you know, everything kind of crumbling around there. Not a good situation, because this all adds to disease and the spread of things. And still we see not everybody wearing masks there too. And here we see Indonesia, new wave of floods hitting there too. 56,000 people affected, 9,285 buildings flooded. Looks pretty deep, guys. It looks pretty deep. Just another thing to add to the mix. You can see, that's pretty deep. That's chest high. And boats down Main Street, as we've seen the last 3 years, a ton of that. Again, it feels like everything ramped up from the eclipse in August of 2017. And a lot more volcanic activity, a lot more earthquake activity going on. This alert level 2 raised. That's in Piton de la Fournaise volcano. And here we have a simulation showing a new eruption at Mount Fuji could paralyze Tokyo in just 3 hours. And of course, Tokyo is one of the biggest cities on the planet as well. And with these times, we have so much going on with the grand solar minimum. We're in the middle of a pandemic. We are magnetic pole reversal. Some people believe the black star is coming soon. Others believe it's going to be Nibiru. Others believe Nibiru is nothing but a big mothership. And there's a lot of weird stuff in the sky as well. Tremendous sightings that we see of all sorts of stuff. And so they say that 5.7 quake and all the ones that came after at Salt Lake City and this 6.5 in Idaho are not related to Yellowstone. But also Yellowstone's pretty damn busy right now too. It's been swarming for a while. Of course, we have record geyser activity at Steamboat Geyser. This last year was record activity. The West, we have some serious changes going on in the West. And here you see first an earthquake in Utah, then Nevada, Idaho. North America's stretching, and this could end in a really bad shaking. So you had first earthquake in Salt Lake City, then one near Reno. There's been swarms in Nevada, swarms going on that are curious. And then there Boise, and then we had a small shock felt through Yellowstone. There's been multiple of those too. So will Yellowstone erupt? The experts are still saying no, not likely in our lifetime. But, North America is definitely going through changes, especially, the western part right now, as far as the quake activity. Really, really curious. But the western U.S. is always in a constant process of what's called continental stretching. So the west stretches about a quarter inch a year. Then after so long, the normal fault zones slip. And then obviously we get an earthquake. And then we also don't forget Ridgecrest, whether that was an earthquake machine done by the CCP over in China or natural. Doesn't really feel natural, but you know what? It unlocked the Garlock Fault. And then we have Joe Brandt's vision way back in the 40s, I think it was. I made a video or two on that. And he said it was going to be the Garlock Fault that triggers San Andreas going. And the experts will tell you Cascadia is going to send San Andreas going. So the West is shaking. It is definitely shaking right now. Lots of changes. And while we're talking about earthquakes, let us just bring up the USGS and see what it looks like right now. As we see some decent sized ones, 5.1 over in Colombia, 5.2 Nicaragua. There's a couple over here, 5.5 East Timor, 5.2 East Timor, 5.2 Northern Mariana Islands. And you can see the activity in the west. And as we zone in, you see the line that stretches here through Yellowstone. We see swarming still going on in Idaho, and still going on in Utah as well. And then, of course, California always has a lot of little quakes going. There's a little line still up there in Washington. So when we zoom into here, there's 40 right now in that same zone in Idaho. These are all pretty much in the 2s and the 3s. But a swarm's still ongoing there. And we jump down into the Salt Lake City area, and there's 15 there still rolling. A couple other ones through the middle of Utah. And let's look south at Carson City. See, there's still a swarm going there too. We see 16. So that's still ongoing too. And this was another area that was getting some swarming. There's just 2 there at the moment. And Hawthorne, by the way, there's a pretty good sized military base over there. Lots of bunkers over that way.
Yes, there is. And they don't make a secret about it over there either. It's sort of out in the open, and you can see the mounds of dirt, and yeah.
So we got a couple over here off the coast near the Juan de Fuca plate. And then we see over here in the geysers, 26 swarming over there. And we'll zoom in over here by Mammoth Lakes, which we know is a supervolcano. And there's 11 there. And then is this the result of earthquake machines, or is this reptilian battles going on, or is this another supervolcano going on? I don't know. It's all a guess right now. We all have our opinions on that, but there's still 37 rolling through there as well. So still active, guys. Still active out there. And so we talked about those and those. This is interesting. Geologists discover fragment of ancient lost continent off the coast of Canada. And this is off of the Baffin Island area. So the team of scientists identified it as a fragment of the North Atlantic craton, an ancient continental crust from, they say, millions of years ago, that stretched from Labrador to Scotland. Wow. Immediately I think, well, I wonder if that's part of Atlantis that went down instead of millions of years ago, maybe, a younger Dryas time period, about 12,000 years ago.
It very well could be, because we don't even know to this day. Well, I think some of us know about what the pyramids are and how they were made. They don't tell us anything. They give us no honest and true education. And with the pyramids, they never found any dead pharaohs in them. They're not tombs like we were told in school. So a lot of this stuff is just, it's just not true. And I think, they want us to be stupid as far as where we come from, because if we actually know where we come from, we would know more about where we're going and our abilities and how to use them and how to work with them. But they like to keep all that hush hush.
Yeah, well, if you could control knowledge, you have an upper hand on the rest of the people that don't have the knowledge and don't have the know-how. And, don't have the bunkers already awaiting them, as they will go inside for another cycle and then probably come out again later, unless there's some benevolent beings that have something to say about that and the galactic police come and round them up. Interesting. So, how old really is it? I don't trust them. That's the bottom line, because there's been so much that they've taught us that we found out was not necessarily accurate. So it makes me wonder, was this perhaps parts of Atlantis that went down? And they say the mineral composition of other portions of North American or North Atlantic craton is so unique, there was no mistaking it. It was easy to tie the pieces together. Adjacent ancient cratons in northern Canada and northern Quebec, northern Ontario, and Nunavut have completely different mineralogies. So it's like finding the missing piece of a puzzle. And the scientific puzzle of ancient Earth can't be complete without all the pieces. Yeah, well, they've tried to hide 99% of the puzzle pieces from the public. So 150 million years ago, they say, the North Atlantic craton's continental plate drifted into fragments. The newly found remnants add about 10% to the known expanse of the craton. With these samples, we're able to reconstruct the shapes of ancient continents based on deeper mantle rocks. And we can now understand and map not only the uppermost skinny layer of Earth that makes up 1% of the planet's volume, but our knowledge is literally and symbolically deeper. We can put together 200 kilometers or 124 miles deep fragments and contrast them based on the details of the mineralogy. All very interesting stuff here. And we are getting bits and pieces of our history, but that's kind of bits and pieces. Rainforests once existed in Antarctica. Well, mainstream science has always felt like they always wanted to downplay basically the crust shifting. And they would say, well, we have a magnetic pole reversal, but everything else stays put. But there's a lot of evidence that's not the case. You guys know the Chan Thomas Adam and Eve story. So an international team of researchers found evidence rainforests once existed in West Antarctica. But besides that, the whole Earth was way, way warmer, like when the dinosaurs were here. And it's changed dramatically. We're actually in a relatively cool time frame right now. We're basically, in just one of these interglacial periods. Not like, what the conditions that existed when the dinosaurs were on the planet. But then, when did they leave too? That's another question mark, because sometimes, we found some footprints of dinosaurs and humans in fossilized rock that were so close together again that brings to question everything that we're told.
It does, and they've kept this from us for years and years and years. And I think what might be happening now is they're coming to a point where they can't keep the information submitted down anymore. It's like it keeps popping up. It's like whack-a-mole. Every time something comes up, and they whack it down, something else comes up. So inevitably, we're learning more and more and more, whether they like it or not.
So the mid-Cretaceous, which was from 115 to 80 million years ago, is considered the warmest period in the last 140 million years. The sea surface temperatures during that time were as hot as 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and the ocean level was as much as 558 feet higher than now.
Wow, and Miss Kimberly is in the house, and we so appreciate your support, and she says we're surrounded with love. Yes, we are.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. We appreciate you, dear sister. So, we were talking about sea level rise. Well, it was at one point 500 and just about 60 feet higher than it is now. And it was full of life and, abundant life. And things got bigger in those days, too, because of the oxygen levels as well. So, we know we've been sold a complete bill of goods. We recognize that. So it would have been warmer down there anyway, just because of that fact. And what's curious, too, is the whole inclination, the axial tilt of the Earth, too. When did that really happen, Because climates, if we didn't have that, things would be way more stable. And, there's a whole line of thinking. That's a whole series of videos for there. But it's just fascinating to think about these changes in the periods that we're in right now. So this is just jumping over to our prepping side, 9 fastest growing fruit trees for your backyard. And unfortunately, anything you plant now when it comes to trees, it's going to be a while before we're going to get something. It's not like going down to Costco, Walmart, or what have you and picking up stuff. But as far as looking at the longer term, peach trees. They're pretty fast growing. And again, everything's going to depend on your area. And then everything is kind of changing at the same time. So peaches, do you like your peaches? Are you a peeler?
No, I'm not a peeler.
Okay.
No.
Because some people like that fuzzy texture almost like freak them out.
No, I like it. I'll just eat it all up. It's great.
Okay. Mulberry trees, they seem to be pretty hardy. And they're pretty prolific. You could actually have them produce after a year if you start with a grafted tree. And they definitely are pretty prolific. Apples, so many different varieties as well. Citrus trees. Now again, this depends on your climate. But there's a guy in Nebraska, like I was saying, I've talked about him several times, an older gentleman. He's probably close to 90 now. And he digs down into the earth, creates greenhouses that are about 6 feet down, uses just the earth's own venting to modify the temperature through piping. And he has like better citrus than you're going to find in Florida. So we can overcome kind of anything, really, if we put our minds to it. Mandarins, apricots, apricots. Cherry trees, fig trees, and pear trees. So some good options there. And this is interesting too. Geomagnetic effects on Earth's biology. That's a big subject, and that's one of the things that makes these times so fascinating.
It does. And geomagnetic effects on Earth's biology equal geomagnetic effects on our biology.
Oh, most definitely. So scientific research into the sun's effects on life and on Earth has yielded results that may surprise you. Well, I don't think these guys. Over a century ago, Soviet-era scientist Alexander Chehevsky conducted exhaustive studies demonstrating an apparent correlation between solar activity and prominent historical events and societal changes. Today, geomagnetic effects on Earth's biology and on life on the planet overall is the subject of many fields of investigation. So, Thunderbolts Project over here has a video, fascinating stuff, intriguing evidence that the sun's electromagnetic activity may influence our bodies and minds in surprising and very dramatic ways. So, check out the video. I'll have all the links there for you guys. Most definitely. So, I hear that. It gets me thinking of so many different things, such as this book, Magnetic Reversals and Evolutionary Leaps, Robert W. Felix. Better known for Not by Fire, but by Ice, which was talking about the fact that we're heading into a cold time. That's what's coming. Talking about the grand solar minimum that was coming many years ago before we had all these YouTube channels, and what it was going to mean, and the food shortages that we were going to see. So all this is part of that bigger picture. But in this book, he says, forget Darwin's theory of slow, stately, orderly evolution. Well, I don't trust Darwin as far as I could throw him. 33rd degree Mason. Oh, yeah. Robert W. Felix presents riveting proof that evolution takes giant leaps in sync with magnetic reversals. And that's what we got going on right now. Aren't we lucky?
We are so lucky. It is pretty exciting to be alive. It truly, truly is. It might be a little difficult because we are not given the guidance that many other, I do believe with the elitists, their children learn totally different things than our children learn. And what they want to do to us is make us little battery packs for their system. So they teach us what is going to be in their best interest, not what the reality is. So it makes it a bit of a challenge, not knowing really too much about what you're up against.
Yeah. So, a great book. I couldn't find a PDF on it, but I do have a good PDF coming up that I'm going to talk about in a second. So in this fast-paced, well-written book, you will learn how geomagnetic reversals trigger evolutionary leaps. And you will learn that those leaps reoccur according to a predictable natural cycle. And you'll learn that the next beat of that reversal cycle is due, and it's actually happening right now. Truly stunning is what this one person said. Never again will the reader be able to claim ignorance in matters of where we came from and how it all started. Move over, Darwin. Yes, time to throw Darwin out. Yeah. And see, this is where they get us, because they put into effect something that they know is off, so that we'll either accept it or we'll throw the entire theory out. And, again, there we would be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because evolution does happen. It does happen. It's part of this. But on this planet, we've also had creation. So we have both. There's both going on. And, it's fascinating to look at it from that point of view. And we have to stay open-minded and, again, go within and find the answers along those lines. After we do our studying, then take time to contemplate and see how it feels. Let it set in a little bit and see what you get. So he takes it from a scientific angle. But, it wasn't unknown and hasn't been unknown. If we talk about the yugas, and there's so much knowledge in the Hindu Vedic tradition. So much ancient knowledge. It's just loaded with stuff. They knew the shape of the galaxy. They knew how long it would take, the expanse of the galaxy, the size of the galaxy. They knew things that they couldn't know unless they were in contact with, or they were able to basically travel out in space. And when we get into the Vedas, there's different ways of dating it, and that it's not like everybody agrees on this. Now, Sri Yukteswar, who was the teacher of Yogananda, who many of you are very, very familiar with, so he wrote a book, and in his book, The Holy Science, he talks about the yugas, and he uses the duration of the yugas found in the Vedas in the book of Manu. And, okay, that's my next read again, the book of Manu. I got to go into that one as well more. Satya Yuga is 4,000 years long with 400-year transitions. There's transition periods. It's not like it just starts and stops. So like if we're talking about the Maya in 2012, it's like, oh, wow, December 22nd, we're still here. They were wrong. No. They're talking about consciousness. Consciousness. And things did shift. And we're feeling that energetic shift, and it's increasing. So Satya Yuga is 4,000 years long, 400-year transitions at the beginning and the end, for a total of 4,800 years. Treta Yuga is 3,000 years long with 300-year transitions at the beginning and the end, 3,600 years. Oh, that's kind of like Nibiru. And Dwapara Yuga is 2,000 years long with 200-year transitions at the beginning and end, for a total of 2,400 years. Kali Yuga is 1,000 years with a 100-year transition at the beginning and the end, for 1,200 years. By adding together the lengths of all the yugas, we see the ascending and descending half of the yuga cycle. Each lasts 12,000 years, for a total of 24,000 years. Interesting that we seem to have these disasters that occur on 12,000 years intervals, isn't it? And it's just one of those coincidences, isn't it? And then, we could also go into the precession of the equinox, which kind of goes along with these timelines pretty good too. There's a lot of things that seem to go along. So Sri Yukteswar calculated that the last Dwapara Yuga ended in 700 BC, shortly after the passing of Krishna. According to his calculations, we pass through both descending and ascending Kali Yugas from 700 BC to 1700 AD. And then we end up, getting into a time of more enlightenment, and we start to see things change. And so ascend into ascending Dwapara Yuga, which will last until 4100 AD, followed by ascending Treta Yuga till 7700 AD, followed by ascending Satya Yuga to 11,500 AD. So he said that our current Dwapara Yuga bestows on mankind the awareness of energy and the fine structures of matter. And thus we call it an energy age. So we're shifting from that more mechanical clock age, where, we just... we're maybe superstitious about some things and, overly looking at things in a physical matter. But we've seen a change in consciousness, and it's definitely increasing. So most definitely people are becoming aware of their energy bodies, and we're able to manipulate energy more and more. And we're able to affect changes in our world and ourselves personally just with our intention more and more and more. So we've also begun to become more aware of subtle energy like the life force, prana, chi, ki, vril. That's the gateway to deeper spiritual awareness. Many practices such as meditation, yoga postures, and acupuncture, whose effectiveness arises from becoming aware of and using subtle energy, comes down to us from the previous descending Dwapara energy age that began at 3100 BC and ended in 700 BC. So, interesting stuff.
It's so interesting. I gobble this stuff up. I love it, because we are moving into that time where we understand energy a little bit more and how to use it and what it can do, and intention. Oh my goodness, that's something very powerful.
So we're on our way, the Kali. We are already basically leaving this dark time period. We still have the control grid in place, but it's cracking at the seams, and we're going to break it down, and we're going to ascend, and this is what we're doing. We're ascending again, and so we're rising on up through the cycles, and everything is going to change. Our reality is going to change. Everything's going to change as this, very, very malevolent power structure goes away, and we start to realize just how powerful we can be and just how beautiful things can be too. So we see different ways of looking at it here with some different diagrams. All very fascinating stuff. And so this is Sri Yukteswar, and this is the PDF of the Holy Science. So I'll have that for you guys too. Please do go and check it out. It's not a long read. You could get done in one sitting, no problem. Of course, it is something you might want to just nibble at and let it, settle in and contemplate.
Yeah, I mean, contemplation is another thing that something that needs to sort of soak into the energy field. So yeah, I mean, that's an excellent read.
So when we're in this photon belt, another component, and we're more aligned with the galactic center, everything gives off energy. And if you guys are blessed enough like we are to be able to look up in the night sky and see the whole Milky Way and know where the Milky Way is because it's right there, you can see just more stars than you could ever even count, even if we had the whole world counting at the same time and picking different ones. It's just so loaded with different stars. Think all those stars, for one, they're all beings. They all have consciousness. Every single one of them is a unique personality, a unique being. And they're all giving off energy. So as we are, we're kind of out there in the boondocks typically. And as we're moving more in line with the center of the galaxy, we're getting under the effects of all the energy of all these divine beings. Some believe that when we're looking at the stars, and then we're really talking about the true Elohim, not the Anunnaki individuals that are really, kind of like our relatives in some ways, because we have DNA from so many different races in us. We're like dogs, we're kind of a mix of a lot of different DNA going on. But when you're in alignment with the galactic center, then we're being bathed in so much more energy than we are when we're out of alignment. And thus we have more of a golden age, more of an age of enlightenment as opposed to the time period of darkness when we're not bathed in that light. Just like, when somebody is, if you've ever been in the presence of a true master and you feel their energy, there's an energy that is just different that comes off of it. And so when you think about these beings that are the stars in the sky, very benevolent beings and very positive, and they're sharing their energy with other planets and with other life forms that are dependent on them. Just as you are sharing your energy with your microbiome, which outnumbers the cells in your body by 10 to 1. All the different things that are living inside you, because you're a galaxy in and of yourself as well, a universe, an entire universe.
Mm-hmm. And there's something really interesting that happens with frequency and vibration when you go into a room and you're with someone who has a higher vibration or a higher frequency, call it what you will. The energy body tends to rise up to meet that higher frequency. So I thought that was just fascinating information. So I guess, when you get around these guys, it can probably feel pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when you're around somebody, like one of my friends follows a guru named Amma, which means mother. And she just says that when you're in her presence, in her space, there's such a peace that comes off. It's like being in the womb, so to speak, again. And I've been in the presence of some people that have this divine energy. It's just beautiful. They give off just such a beautiful, peaceful, loving vibe. That's a true blessing to be around. So interesting that the Pleiades comes up, because we are definitely totally connected with the Pleiades and the Pleiadians as well. And here's another diagram. You could look at the Seven Sisters, and Alcyone right there has a relationship to us and also to Sirius. And so, there's a lot of different beings out there. And there's a strong Syrian influence on this planet as well.
Extremely strong. Yeah, I that's one of the galactic things I feel is the Syrian energy and Pleiades and probably a few more. I feel all kinds of energies, really.
Yes. And somebody had mentioned something about talking about Andromeda because, Andromeda is the closest to us. It's close to us, and it also has a lot of very, very, from what we get and from what we've received, humanoid beings that are very, very much like us, very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we're all sort of kind of like the same thing. We're just on different dimensions. We believe and understand things differently, different technologies, but we're all sort of kind of in the same boat.
And interesting how we see a lot of these diagrams in the crop circles as well. I remember watching before more than once a crop circle being made by a tiny little metal sphere, and I've caught pictures of those metal spheres and I've shared them with you guys in the past. And so, who operates those? I don't know. That's a good question. Some higher intelligences for sure.
Definitely, that's maybe one we should talk about later, or look that up a little bit later. But I love these crop circles. They're so awesome, and I've seen some videos where it shows like white orbs of light kind of racing around the field making something. So I totally believe those are made through a higher intelligence.
They definitely are. They definitely are. And their messages, and I think in a lot of ways they're telling us to hang in there, to hang in there. We're going through, and we've been getting these crop circles for a long time. We're going through a hard time, and we're going to go through a very challenging time. But ultimately, everything is energy, everything is consciousness. Consciousness and energy will not be created or destroyed. It just changes forms. It evolves. And so we're in a time of perhaps rapid evolution. So what comes next? That's the big question. What comes next? As far as the evolutionary scale of things, we're going to regain a lot of abilities that we've lost, such as, the ability to talk to everybody. Think about the Tower of Babel again. Many people believe the Tower of Babel was really shutting off the pineal gland. That's what it was. And then all of a sudden we had to develop language verbally instead of communicating through intuition and pictures, because when you receive impressions, that's what it is a lot of times. They come in through as pictures often.
Yeah, that's exactly what they come through as. And oh, Grizz, I'm sorry. Okay, ready? Okay, everybody watch your ears. Watch your ears. Here I go. 1, 2, 3. Roar!
Oh, God. She shook the room that time.
Sorry.
Yeah, so, again, like Ricky says, math proves how amazing the Creator is. And, science and spirituality, they're going to meld at some point, because when we're talking about the occult, it's just simply things that are hidden. Paranormal is just, it's normal. We just don't understand it yet fully. And some do, and that's why yogis can do amazing things. When we were talking about Sri Yukteswar, if we go back over, okay, that wasn't that one, that was the PDF, there he is. Yogananda was separated by him by I think 50 or 60 miles, if I remember right. And it was getting closer to when Sri Yukteswar was going to leave the body. And he actually, Yogananda could feel something was up and was really longing for his master. And so Sri Yukaswar manifested a physical body right in front of him. And some people will say, oh, that's crazy. That's just a fairy tale. They just tell you that. But I think there's a science behind that, and I do think it could happen. There's been cases of bilocation with other saints, including St. Francis of Assisi. I mean, he was seen levitating. So here's a Catholic saint. Even though we know all about the origins of the Catholic Church and the control and Constantine and all that, and what so many of the popes have done, yet, of course there's saints in all religions and all traditions. So, St. Francis of Assisi was seen levitating off the ground, and also seen in two places at once. I remember once was, I think, in the garden, and then he was also in prayer at the same time, deep in meditation. So it's not just that you only have to be a Hindu yogi. There's Buddhist monks that have done amazing things and been, again, seen levitating, seen manifesting things just out of thin air. This is the true science, the real science. We're here distracted into some science that perhaps if we understood this true science, this highest science, and as the book says, the holy science, it would make the other stuff look a little bit trivial in so many ways.
I do completely believe that there's a lot of technology in just the emotions themselves. Like, I believe that love is a frequency, and it can heal. That's where our intention moves into our emotion, and our emotions put things in motion. And, we can be a destructive force, or we can be a creative force. And our intention, it matters.
Intention is everything. Intention with focus, also with the right emotion. So emotions are key. Emotions are so powerful. And I think we've been brought up in the West to value the left-brained analytical ability and almost put down our emotional side of things, where the emotional side is closer to spirit than the left-brained approach, closer to source.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that. So, those of us who are like a basket full of emotions, we've been sort of put in a society that doesn't recognize that to be a good thing. In fact, most of the time it works not in our favor, with justice systems and stuff like that. But there is a way to handle it and cope. And for me, it's a lot of mantras, meditation, things like this to get them under control, so that when I do need to use them for healing to work on someone, I can focus in that intention on that emotion and help move some pretty good energy.
Ricky says she had thought all this was evil voodoo, and now she's a convert. Thanks, Mike and Cindy. Open my eyes to the world around us.
Yay, I'm glad.
That's wonderful, sister. We love you. And, yeah, that's the problem. But, we've been conditioned to think that we're so much less than we truly are, and that's part of what we're waking up to realize, like, holy crap, we have a lot of power. We could really affect amazing change. We could do incredible things. Well, obviously the controllers want to keep all that info to themselves, so they're the only ones that could control the reality around us. But we are waking up, guys. We are waking up in droves now, more and more waking up and understanding the bigger picture. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining us once again. Thank you guys for your support here, also on Ko-Fi and Patreon. And also, if you guys haven't, just in case, you could subscribe to Brightian and BitChute in case YouTube does something nasty. One of the other things I really wanted to share with you guys is, we're doing something officially that I wanted to do for years, but I guess my own fears held me back, but I think we're just growing. So one of the things that we're going to do is operate on a completely donation basis. So we'll work on anybody, and it's up to them, what they want to donate. So we understand that, everybody's different, and everybody's going to be going through a little bit of a tougher time financially right now. But we still want to share the love and share energy and help people heal. And, so anything from energy work, biofield tuning, Vedic charts, tarot readings, anything you guys need, that you want to get in contact with us for, we'll do it on a donation basis. And we've been pretty busy with quite a few people on a regular basis again. That's what happened to me before. When I stayed put in one place, I quickly had so much clientele that I was exhausted at the end of the day, because I would just be working on people for 10 to 12 hours every day. But it's a blessing to do that and to share the love and the light and to help people heal. And that's a big part of our purpose on this planet. And then teach you guys so that you could spread the love too and the healing.
It's super important that when we do the healing work, I think what it does is it opens up the body for information so you can continue to heal yourself. You get these little aha moments where, oh yeah, I need to take this or I need to do that. It's all about getting your body opened up to talk to itself, so you know better what to do.
So, anybody that's interested, just send us an email, evolutionaryenergyarts@gmail.com, and we will get something scheduled with you guys. We love you guys so much. Stay healthy out there. Stay safe. God bless and namaste, guys.
God bless and namaste.